largest selection of wedding bands and anniversary rings. Save 20% on the exclusive Love Story collection. Free silicone band with appointment. Take advantage of interest-free financing options. Wickersham Jewelry. If you can dream it, we can make it.
These days, news seems to come from all directions, and it can be overwhelming. Simplify your intake by watching news from where you live. WJFW NBC News Watch 12. We deliver critical local and national news, sports highlights, and weather updates. Watch us daily on Channel 12. Visit us at WJFW.com or like us on Facebook. We are NBC News Watch 12.
Guess who's making a splash? You're Denord, of course. We make installing your dock easy enough for just one person, and you don't even have to get wet. With our piers, there's less maintenance, no rust, and no fuss, because we're factory direct. Made in St. Germain, come and visit us.
Weather Watch 12 with Devin Biggs, 5 to 7 a.m.
MAGA Republicans all voted to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. They voted to get rid of it over 50 times since Barack passed it.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, learn about the details from the president's latest budget proposal and what he hopes to accomplish. Plus,
all right, we're watching for snow this morning. That'll be getting out of here as the morning progresses, but there's another system we have our eye on. Your full forecast is coming up.
And learn about a new Wisconsin plan to help people explore more local farms and growing patches across the state. It's Friday, March 10th.
News Watch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Lodeholtz, and Devin Biggs.
good morning and thank you for starting your day with us. I'm Jackie Smith.
And I'm Michael Lodeholtz.
And well, the snow has returned after a good stretch of some upper 30s.
Yeah, it was a little surprising. I had forgotten that we were supposed to be getting a little bit of snow over the nighttime and woke up to a nice surprise.
Shame on you. Devin Biggs in the Weather Center, because he wants to make sure we never forget what's going on with the weather.
Yeah, I know, right? I can forgive Michael this time. No, after you rescued me yesterday when I had some vehicle problems. Definitely appreciate that, though. So I'm going to hold the trash talking to Michael to a little bit more of a minimum today, which means we'll just throw it all on Jackie, right?
Whoa.
Whoa, right? Let's get things rolling out there this morning. It is snowing. Roads are snow covered. You get the general idea. It's that dry, fluffy snow, so you should be able to maneuver fine, but just be smart as you're driving this morning. We will maintain winter weather advisories till about 9 a.m. this morning. This winter storm warning drops at around 9 a.m. as well. Some additional snowfall, roughly around an inch possible before we're all finished up as well. But here's the snow right now. It's still kind of developing out there. We're even seeing it in the Rhinelander area, so visibility levels will be reduced from time to time as well. The bigger picture looks a little bit like this, so we're going to start pushing this system out of here. But as we do that, there's going to be more activity off toward the west moving in soon, and that'll be our next system that will begin to move in. Those temperatures right now are in the 20s, so below freezing, supporting that snow that is falling, even some upper 20s further down toward the south. Your out-the-door forecast for today, we'll see the morning snow give way to a mostly cloudy sky this afternoon, and temperatures that will be in the lower 30s.
Wisconsin Republicans have blocked Governor Tony Evers' plan to require student vaccinations against meningitis and to tighten chickenpox vaccination requirements. The legislature's GOP-controlled Rules Committee voted down party lines 6-4 to block the proposal. The vote came 2 days after a lengthy public hearing on the policy changes, where parents complained that the new requirements trampled their liberties. During that hearing, State Senator Steve Nass, the committee co-chairperson, called Dr. Ryan Westgard, who studies patterns of diseases for the state, quote, Wisconsin's Dr. Fauci. Nass said he doesn't trust anything Westgard says after he recommended the state shut down during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Northern Wisconsin Congressman Tom Tiffany presided over the U.S. House of Representatives on Thursday. The House voted to overturn an EPA rule. The rule is known as Waters of the United States. It established a definition of navigable waters that expanded protections put in place by the Clean Waters Act. But Republicans argue the rule is too restrictive and could have negative consequences for private landowners. If the bill passes the Senate, President Biden likely is to veto it.
The proposed bill in the Wisconsin State Assembly could impose a minimum sentence of 5 years in prison for felons who are convicted of possessing a firearm. State law already bars a person convicted of a felony from owning a gun, but right now, 5 years in prison is the maximum penalty. No minimum sentence currently exists. The authors of the bill argue that people carrying guns after being charged with crimes are contributing to an increase in violent crime in Milwaukee and elsewhere. The ACLU of Wisconsin, which opposes the bill, says mandatory minimum sentences disproportionately affect communities of color.
Spring is coming, and so is growing season here in Wisconsin. To promote Wisconsin's farmers, the Wisconsin Agricultural Tourism Association announced a new roadside campaign. It will promote everything from wine growers to petting zoos to berry patches. Large red signs equipped with QR codes will start popping up at rest stops across the state as part of the campaign. The code will direct visitors to nearby farms and other agricultural tourism experiences. Wisconsin's Agricultural Tourism Association wants to celebrate the stories behind Wisconsin's producers in an industry that brings in $104.8 billion to the state each year.
Congress is gearing up for a major battle.
President Biden laid out the $6.8 trillion budget proposal last night, only to see it quickly dismissed by Republicans.
Kristen Welker has details on the president's priorities.
In battleground Pennsylvania, President Biden unveiling his sweeping budget proposal, calling for major tax hikes on the wealthy and increased spending.
My budget's going to give working people a fighting chance. It's going to create good-paying jobs.
Still, with divided government, that plan is dead on arrival, with Republicans staunchly opposed to any new tax increases. But Mr. Biden's proposal likely a blueprint for his battle plan against Republicans in his expected 2024 re-election bid.
MAGA Republicans all voted to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. They voted to get rid of it over 50 times since Barack passed it.
The $6.8 trillion plan calls for protecting Social Security and shoring up Medicare by raising taxes on the wealthiest Americans, including increasing penalties on oil and gas companies, imposing a billionaire tax of 25%, and hiking the corporate tax rate from 21 to 28%. And it includes record spending on the military and increasing funding for social programs like early childhood education and child care. But Republicans blasting it as a reckless tax and spend plan.
What does this budget do? Raise more taxes, spends more money, creates probably the biggest government we've ever seen in the history of the United States.
The president's plan also an attempt to revive his standing. In our latest NBC News poll, just 36% say they approve of his handling of the economy, and just 32% say they are enthusiastic or comfortable with him running for office again.
Coming up in international news, we'll share the details around a letter of apology regarding the recent cartel kidnapping in Mexico.
Plus, find out the division of power within China as President Xi Jinping enters his third term. Those stories and more news from around the world when we come back.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family. News you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
What does it cost to buy off a judge? For extremist Dan Kelly, he's for sale for $20,000. In 2020, Kelly conveniently changed his mind about whether to judge the Tim Zignego case. Kelly had recused himself. Then he pocketed $20,000 in contributions from Zignego and his family, and Kelly unrecused himself so he could judge the case. Justice shouldn't be for sale. Dan Kelly is too corrupt, too extreme.
Bad Boy Mowers. Born here, raised here, tested here, and proven here. With advanced engineering and power, a groundbreaking 3-link suspension, and personalized settings built for here, the fields, front lawns, and backyards of America. Bad Boy. Mow with an attitude.
This is Ford Truck Month, America. Time to get up and get into Ford F-150, part of F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight. All amped up and ready for work or play. Plus, there's a great selection in stock and ready for delivery today. So get into Ford Truck Month and see what a built Ford tough truck can do for you. Now, choose Flex Buy on a 2022 F-150 with 2.9% APR financing for 66 months and 1,000 Flex Buy cash plus 1,000 Ford credit cash.
Is a new roof on your spring to-do list? Hi, I'm Paul, owner of Overhead Solutions. Now is a great time to think ahead and secure a spot for that replacement on our schedule. Go ahead and call our competitors, but before you sign on that dotted line, call Overhead Solutions. I believe our high quality and fair price can beat our competition.
Call Overhead Solutions for a free roof estimate.
Remember, don't overpay. Call Overhead. Overhead Solutions.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there this morning. Plenty of things to break down. So we're watching snowfall this morning. Overall, about 1 to 2 inches are the only reports we've gotten between Rhinelander and Wausau so far this morning. And the roads are snow covered like what you saw in Park Falls there. But winter weather advisories do remain in effect this morning till about 9 a.m. for these counties here, and Friday just for a little while yet until 6 a.m. for Adams County on a winter storm warning. But we're already starting to see alerts issued ahead of our next system out that's moving in. A winter storm watch that is posted through Monday morning at 7 a.m., including parts of Ashton County. I think the idea is once we see these alerts in effect this morning drop, we'll probably start seeing more alerts issued later today for the next round of snow that will be moving in. But here's a general idea. So we're seeing snow developing out there this morning, and it's definitely causing some issues with the roadways, maybe some visibility reductions as well. But as this thing tracks off towards the east, things will begin to improve moving forward. Here's the big picture that we're seeing right now. Area low pressure here, thunderstorms to the south. We're on the back edge of the system right now, and we're going to be watching for this thing that will continue to develop as we do move forward in time. So once we track this off towards the east, we will be done with that. So Futurecast moving forward looks a little bit like this. So the snow starts tracking off towards the east. As the day progresses on, we'll start to calm down after that point. Moving forward through tonight, overall, we're going to hold on to the clouds moving forward as well. By Saturday, we're starting off fine. Then by Saturday afternoon, the snow starts to move in. But before we go there with that next system, let's talk about this morning first. So what you're seeing here is anything that could fall still this morning. Maybe an inch or less here across our neck of the woods, maybe a little bit more off toward the east as the system tracks away. That's just for this morning that's currently moving forward. But our next system is going to be moving in later on the Saturday afternoon to the evening time frame, moving in from west to the east. This one could dump a decent amount of snow on us with our first wave moving forward as we head towards Sunday morning, and then kind of lasting through Sunday evening as well, maybe even in a parts of Monday before it starts to taper off to maybe a few lake effect snow showers after that. Here's the first call on the system. So expect this map to change moving forward, generally about 5 to 8 inches. Nothing significant. We've done this before, but we could be seeing about 5 to 8 inches of snow before this starts to back off. And I do expect this map to adjust as we do get closer, because today is Friday and this thing doesn't start till tomorrow night. So it's a multiple day system, so we can handle this as it backs off as we head towards your Monday. Temperatures right now are in the 20s out there, middle 20s here, even upper 20s further down toward the south. So the temperatures are definitely below freezing, supporting the snow that's falling out there this morning. Lower 30s, morning snow, mostly cloudy. Northeast wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. By tonight, here we go, 15 degrees, mostly cloudy again. The northeast wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, 7-day forecast. So here we go. So here's the snow beginning Saturday, continuing into Saturday night, into Sunday, and also through Monday. A multiple day system, so that 5 to 8 inches that you saw is spread out between Saturday afternoon through Monday morning. So it's going to be very spread out, so we can definitely work with this. But then by Tuesday, Wednesday, we're drying out before more rain and snow and another system as we head towards your Thursday. So Michael, we're staying a little busy out there.
Thanks, Devin. Certainly some active weather ahead. But moving on to the international news, the Mexican cartel believed to be responsible for kidnapping 4 Americans has issued a letter of apology. In a handwritten letter, the Gulf Cartel Scorpion Group apologized to the city of Matamoros, the affected Americans and their families, as well as the innocent Mexican bystander who was killed in the shooting. The letter also explains the cartel turned over the 5 members responsible for the crime, who were operating outside their rules. Law enforcement officials on both sides of the border believe the letter is authentic and that the Americans were targeted in a case of mistaken identity. The bodies of the two South Carolina residents who were killed, Shaeed Woodard and Zindell Brown, were returned to a Brownsville, Texas funeral home on Thursday. A senior soccer official and a security officer have been found guilty of negligence for their roles in last year's deadly stadium stampede in Indonesia. A judge sentenced Abdul Haris, a chairman of the organizing committee for the football club, to 1.5 years behind bars. Security officer Suko Sutrisno, who was sentenced to a year in jail. 135 people died when chaos erupted at a derby match last October. Police fired tear gas after fans ran onto the field following the team's loss. That triggered a stampede as people rushed towards the exits. The judge ruled Harris sold too many tickets, exceeding the maximum capacity of the stadium. China's Xi Jinping has been awarded an unprecedented third term as president. The National People's Congress appointed him by unanimous vote on Friday. In China, each presidential term is 5 years, so Xi is entering his 11th year in power, making him the longest-serving head of Communist China since its founding in 1949. Xi was also unanimously named chairman of the Central Military Commission. Li Qiang, one of Xi's most trusted protégés, is expected to be chosen as China's premier on Saturday. Traditionally, the premiership is an influential role in charge of the economy. However, over the past decade, its power has been severely eroded by Xi, who has taken almost all decision-making into his own hands.
Find out how pollen season is gearing up to be a serious concern. Plus, learn the best diet to keep a healthy mind as well as a healthy body. Those stories and more health news when we return.
The Rhinelander Pub is now open Monday to Saturday. Come enjoy our newly expanded lunch and dinner menu featuring longtime pub favorites and new entree additions. You will love our all-you-can-eat soup and salad bar and Friday seafood buffet.
At WJFW, our Newswatch 12 News team works around the clock to bring you the news that matters most of all to the North Woods. Our team is committed to the community and ensuring that you are as informed as possible. The Newswatch 12 team works hard to deliver the most important stories from around the globe, local and national sports updates, and weather reports. We are NBC Newswatch 12, news from where you live.
Looking to make a switch from your current wireless carrier? Make Cellcom your choice. Now, through the end of the month, get 6 months of service for free with a new smartphone line activation and Flex agreement. Choose from the latest phones and a plan that meets all of your wireless needs. Plus, join Cellcom and we'll cover your cost to switch, up to $650 per line. Visit Cellcom.com/save for more details. That's Cellcom.com/save.
Good news. This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Now get a 2022 Explorer with 0% APR financing for 36 months, only at your Wisconsin and UP Ford dealers.
See the exceptional selection of jewelry at Golden Carat Jewelers. Artistic handmade jewelry by Michu and Bella Trois. Fashion-forward designs by Mira T and Frederick Sage. The latest trends and the forever classics from Facet Barcelona, Catan, and more. Your full-service jewelry store in downtown Minocqua, Golden Carat Jewelers has a surprise for everyone.
The Rhinelander Pub is now open Monday to Saturday. Come enjoy our newly expanded lunch and dinner menu featuring longtime pub favorites and new entree additions. You will love our all-you-can-eat soup and salad bar and Friday seafood buffet.
Alrighty, here we are. So watching snow that's moving in this morning. It's going to start moving out of here as the morning progresses on. So as this round starts to end, we'll have to watch for our next system. Now we'll begin to approach Saturday night and lasting through Monday. So this will be kind of a multi-day system that's moving in over the weekend.
Thank you, Devin. We're seeing a record early start to allergy season. Allergy-triggering pollen is hitting the southern and eastern U.S. earlier this year than ever before. Waves of the yellow-green dust are flooding the air and coating everything from car windshields to sidewalks. In Atlanta, the pollen count climbed to extremely high range on Monday, the earliest it has done so in 30 years of record keeping. By Tuesday, the tree pollen count had doubled. In Washington, D.C., the first high tree pollen count appeared a month ago, hitting a record high for this time of year. And it comes after an exceptionally warm February in the south and east and is part of a trend blamed on climate change. A leading medical expert says concussions are becoming a very common problem among older people. As the U.S. population ages, concussions are happening more often. The condition is referred to as the gray tsunami that is hitting emergency rooms. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's office announced the 81-year-old Kentucky Republican was diagnosed with a concussion after a fall and is expected to remain in the hospital for a few days. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, falls are the leading cause of fatal and non-fatal injuries in older adults. A new study suggests people who eat plant-based Mediterranean type of diets have fewer signs of Alzheimer's in their brain tissue. One such diet is called the MIND diet. MIND stands for Mediterranean Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay. It's a mouthful, but a healthy one that's also good for your brain. The hallmark psychological signs of Alzheimer's are sticky plaques and tangled up proteins in brain tissues. The study examined the brain tissues of more than 500 people who donated their bodies for scientific research. It found those who had closely followed the Mediterranean or MIND diet had much lower odds of having enough plaques and tangles in brain tissues to have an Alzheimer's diagnosis.
Coming up next, fishing in the Northwoods is a beloved pastime for many. Find out how the love of fish extends to more than just lakes and rivers for some people. Stay with us.
You can always find great-looking furniture at incredible everyday low prices at Slumberland Furniture. Like these modern sectionals and sofas, starting as low as $3.99. And always free doorstep shipping. Get your look for less at Slumberland Furniture.
There are never enough hours in the day. I'm always making trade-offs, sacrifices. But I'll keep going. Even when it feels like there's no way I can do it all, I won't give up. I'm doing this for me and for them. We're doing this together. North Central Technical College's virtual college. Flexible learning, because our time is precious.
For 25 years, Janet Protasewicz was a prosecutor, fighting for justice for victims of crime, helping people like her and him and them. She believes everyone has the right to a safe community. As a judge, Janet upholds the Constitution, and she fiercely guards our rights and our freedoms. Judge Janet will bring change to the court. A common-sense, impartial judge who cares about us. Janet Protasewicz for Supreme Court.
Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
He's going to speak now.
The bad news. Most cell companies only give you discounts if you meet their hidden requirements.
I bet he says the good news now.
The good news. U.S. Cellular gives you $830 off any phone when you choose an unlimited evolved plan. No plan restrictions or trade-ins needed.
So nice.
So, a friend who always has a broken phone can finally get a new one.
It's just a scratch. It's broken.
Oh. Ooh.
It's busted.
We're good. Oh, no.
Get $830 off any phone with no hidden requirements. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
Sore back but hate mattress shopping?
Yes.
Totally dread it.
Totally.
Come to Slumberland and see how we've made mattress shopping easy.
How easy is that?
So easy.
So easy.
Get your sleep solution at Slumberland Furniture.
And welcome back. The National Park Service is fishing for your attention.
They are beginning to post a series of wildlife-themed crochet patterns on their website. You can crochet your own halibut, walleye, and more. If you're looking for a good way to relax during the end of the winter months, this is a good way to do it. You can make one of these creatures as a gift to give to a loved one or just for fun. You can find these patterns on the National Park Service's website at nps.gov and search crochet.
That's a unique way to kind of get into the fishing spirit.
Yeah, no, I think that's cute. And like anyone who wants to start off crocheting, that looks pretty simple. You just build like a fish body, tail.
Exactly. I mean, you know, I'm no artist myself, so that would be tough. I don't know if people would even get that it would be a fish at the end.
A blobfish, maybe.
A blobfish. Well, Devin Biggs is out on the weather deck now. Devin, would you consider yourself an artistic crocheter?
Probably not. I don't know. I'm not very artsy. I'm not good at it, though.
Yeah, we can learn together.
Yeah, let's definitely try to learn at least. But yeah, moving forward with weather art out here this morning. Mother Nature dumping some more snow. The plows are working on clearing our parking lot this morning, so they're working on it, though. But moving forward, road conditions, not great this morning. Anywhere you see pink means snow or ice-covered roads. The blue means slippery stretches, and that's a good part of the state. So just budget in some extra time to get to where you need to go this morning. Obviously, with the road crews out, things will start to improve soon, especially with the snow backing off. Here's some advisories. We're still holding on to winter weather advisories, and of course the winter storm warnings as well. That will expire later this morning. You can also see the winter storm watch in Ashland County for the next system. Now we'll be moving on in. Here's the radar in Sally. We're watching all this currently moving in from the west going toward the east. So as we push forward, we'll start getting this out of here soon. We'll start to calm down later this afternoon. Here's the travel forecast for today. Things will improve this afternoon. Temperatures in the 30s across the western parts of the state. For us, we'll also be in the lower 30s and such, with temperatures, again, not too bad. But farther down toward the south, not too bad either. We'll see temperatures in the 30s and holding on to the clouds. A little more coming up after the break.
Serving in Afghanistan, I was hit by sniper fire, and I was given a 5% chance to live. It's a good thing math wasn't my best subject. Today, I visit classrooms and share my story. I tell kids that with a little help and a lot of work, that you can overcome any challenge.
DAV helps veterans like Adam get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is being there for the next generation.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Now's the time to save on big projects. Hurry into Menards for 11% off everything. Get 11% off easy flooring updates for your home. Find your style and save 11% on Patriot Lighting. Transform your home with 11% off new Mastercraft doors. Or go even bigger and get 11% off a new kitchen. Don't miss out. There's no limit to what you can save with 11% off everything at Menards.
Save big money at Menards. Sharp wire pokes his lip. Hurts bad, can't handle it. He'd be feeling fine with Invisalign. Invis is drama-free. Less painful than braces. Invisalign.
It's Macy's one-day sale now with great deals of the day, like up to 50% off underwear, basics, and more. 60% off Charter Club Damask designs, plus 40% off Black & Decker, Bella, and Crux. And Macy's Star Money bonus days are going on now.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Wausau Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our unique doctor-supervised program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back safely, naturally, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no drugs, no hypnosis or surgery, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Hi, I'm Janelle. I've lost 70 pounds in 30 inches. I know the secret. I feel great now after losing the 70 pounds. I can do stairs. I don't have pain through the day, through the night. As a breast cancer survivor, I knew I needed to lose the weight to prevent future health issues. I feel great, living each day with hope for my future.
For your free private weight loss consultation, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695. We know the secret.com.
News Watch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Lodeholt, and Devin Biggs.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michael Lodeholt.
And I'm Jackie Smith.
Things got loud on Thursday morning in Forest County as students cheered on the state-bound Leona Wabeno Rebels.
The girls basketball team defeated Edgar last Saturday to secure their spot and are making history with a trip to state.
News Watch 12's Mohammed Abdul-Kawi went to Leona to catch up with the team.
Leona School held a pep rally on Thursday to celebrate the girls basketball team going to state. Even though they are from small towns, they want people to realize that they have big dreams.
I think this is the moment it really starts to hit home that we're going down to Green Bay, we're going to state.
A few days ago, the Leona Wabeno girls basketball team made history by qualifying for state for the first time since combining athletics. And early Thursday morning, they celebrated. Head coach Andrew Harrison says while the season was full of challenges, he's proud of his girls for making it this far.
These seniors were in 5th grade when I first got here, and to see them just work through all the years and continue to improve and not let the failures set us back, and just use them as a reason to continue pushing and working harder, it's just awesome to see them have the success.
Grace Crosby has been waiting for this moment for her life. That dream has inspired them all year long.
We strive to work very hard every day in practice. We're always going after each other, competing, working hard to be better for each other and for the team. I'm very ready. I am so excited. I don't think I slept last night. I just am so excited to get onto that state floor.
And while Leona was known for being a small town, Kaylin says the community has big dreams.
And when things like this happen, everyone just tries to go all out, and that's really what's happening. You know, we get our escorts from our fire and EMS, and I think that's the best part. And people always ask, like, oh, do you get sick of it? But you can't. It's such an incredible feeling, and having the whole community here to support us, it really means a lot.
Leona Wabeno will take on number 2 seed Blair Taylor in Green Bay on Friday at around 10:30. Because students and staff will be attending the tournament to support the girls, there will be no school at Leona or Wabeno on Friday.
Well, thanks, Mohammed. And that's exciting. The Leona Wabeno heading to state, you know.
Absolutely. Great. It's always great when you're also on the team that's making history and, like, you kind of left your impact on the school.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to be known there for a very long time.
Absolutely. And hopefully they're going to have not the worst weather while heading to state. You have Devin. What's it going to look like? I know the roads aren't ideal right now.
They're not ideal, but they'll be fine, though, especially when it comes to the state tournament coming up very soon over in Green Bay, too. It kind of seems like deja vu for me. My high school, the girls' basketball team, has got 2nd place in the Illinois High School Association state basketball tournament. So congratulations, nice. Lincoln Lady Railers there on that. And the town showed up. They filled pretty much all the bleachers and then some, though, over at Illinois State University. So it was actually pretty cool to see that. But let's get things rolling out there this morning for going on here in the Northwoods. So we're going to be seeing some snow falling still. Looks like they're working on the roads. So today the snow will take a bit, but tomorrow, though, we'll be looking pretty decent. I should say today, actually, I think is when all this excitement's going on. So later today, we'll start seeing the roads improve, especially as we move forward. I'm getting my days backwards here. I forgot today is Friday. So let's get things rolling here. So winter weather advisories drop later this morning at 9 a.m. Winter storm warnings in Adams County will expire about a half hour from now, and then Allen will be done as well. But the roads will be under improvement as the day progresses on. We have snow, and yes, it's falling in Green Bay, so still I would encourage allow extra time. But as the day gets going, things will start to look better from there. Let's zoom things out and give you the bigger picture. It looks a little bit like this. We have the area low pressure tracking off towards the east. We're on the back edge of this. We're already starting to see some snow back off from west to east of the state. So improvement is already being noted. We just got to give it some time, allow the road crews to do their work, and just allow extra time to get to your destinations in general. Temperatures in the 20s right now. Your number 20s further down toward the south, so below freezing, so that's snow not going anywhere, but your bus stop forecast mid-20s with snow showers on the way. And when the kids come home, all right, lower 30s and a mostly cloudy sky.
Thank you, Devin. Safe water is one of the most important substances in our lives, and the Lincoln County Health Department is doing what they can to protect it.
The Langlade County Health Department announced the opening of its Wisconsin-certified lab for testing drinking water. The Wisconsin DNR recommends annual testing of private wells for bacteria and nitrate. The lab has bacteria testing capabilities and is working with another lab to offer nitrate testing. Anyone who has a private well may utilize the lab for testing, and the tests cost $20 each. Special sampling bottles that include instructions for the testing are available for pickup at the health department.
The St. Germain Chamber of Commerce announced a new grant program designed to boost tourism. The 2023 Tourism Development Grant is room tax funded and is available for nonprofits and government units in the town. The Chamber will accept grant applications for costs relating to development of St. Germain visitor attractions or costs for a marketing project. Contact the Chamber for more information and a grant application.
Coming up, we have some news you can use, including the possible reason for grocery prices remaining high while raw material costs have declined for months.
Plus, learn about the latest product recall for those with Yeti gear. Those stories and more consumer news after this.
Counterfeit prescription pills laced with fentanyl are killing our kids by the thousands across the nation. The pills look safe. Can you tell which one is real? Drug dealers are pushing these deadly pills on your kids' social media. It only takes one pill to kill. And it did. You can help stop the fentanyl epidemic. Talk to your kids about the dangers of counterfeit prescription pills. Visit onepillkills.org.
The Northwoods provides plenty of beauty year-round, and the weather events that develop can produce some amazing photos. Submit yours online at WJFW's weather photo section on the website to share with the WJFW weather team.
What does it cost to buy off a judge? For extremist Dan Kelly, he's for sale for $20,000. In 2020, Kelly conveniently changed his mind about whether to judge the Tim Zignego case. Kelly had recused himself. Then he pocketed $20,000 in contributions from Zignego and his family, and Kelly unrecused himself so he could judge the case. Justice shouldn't be for sale. Dan Kelly is too corrupt, too extreme.
Hey, man, you could save hundreds for safe driving with Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Woo! We gotta go get it.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Who doesn't love ice cream? Enter the Birthday Club contest at WJFW.com for your chance to win a free single scoop of ice cream from the country store of Eagle River. Watch Newswatch 12 today, Monday through Friday, to see the lucky winner of the day.
When the owners of Kelk Land Improvement and Kelk Septic Service of Woodruff want the forecast for the Northwoods, they go to WJFW.com and check their hometown weather.
Available 24/7 at WJFW.com.
I don't think you should be working 3 jobs.
Me neither. That's why I got 4. Do you know what it's like to be broke and looking through people's trash for food?
You do that now. You like trash food.
When it's on my terms.
Lopez versus Lopez tonight on NBC.
See that girl back there? I heard her going on and on about boxing.
Thanks for looking out.
I made that up. This is a prank. Oh, you got him good?
What the?
She don't like it?
Oh, we're headed back to her place. Thank you, Nikki.
Grand Crew tonight on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there this morning. Plenty of things to break down. For now, let's start with the snow. And over in Park Falls, people are making their commutes this morning. It looks like the road crews are working in the roads so you can at least see them. So you should be fine this morning to make that commute to wherever you need to go. As far as I know, there's no closures this morning as a result of weather, so we should be good to go there. We do have winter weather advisories posted until 9 a.m. for the counties, highlighted here in purple here, and that's for a little bit more snow this morning. The winter storm warning will be dropping at 6 a.m., so in about 20 minutes from now, we'll be seeing this advisory pop off the map. Let's zoom things over further off towards the north and west. We have a winter storm watch ahead of our next system that will be moving in over the weekend. In fact, Saturday night through Sunday and Monday morning, we'll see this system moving through. So it's going to be kind of a multi-day system, and the snow accumulations with that system will be spread out. We'll talk about that in a bit. But here's the current setup here. So we're watching some snow developing this morning, watching from the west going toward the east. So it's going to be a little tricky out there this morning for some roads that haven't been plowed just yet, or maybe visibility levels dropping just a bit more too with any bursts of snow currently moving through, but the setup looks like this. So we have low pressure tracking off towards the north and east. We have high pressure right behind it, another system off toward the west, and we're going to be watching for our next system that will be moving in, giving us that opportunity for snow, again, as early as tomorrow night, Saturday night, lasting through Sunday into Monday morning. So here's a general idea. So watching Futurecast push the snow out of here as the day progresses on. By the afternoon, we're done. Maybe a few flurries left over. The roads will have a chance to recover as well. Travel should be fine. Just allow extra time. You should be okay. But the cloud's not going anywhere, though. And then as we head towards your Saturday, starting off fine, we're going to be watching for some more snow that will begin to move in soon. So before we talk about that system, let's talk about this morning first. So about another inch or less before we're all finished up, maybe a little bit more further off towards the east where the snow could linger for just a little while longer. And then we'll be done with that. So this is additional snowfall on top of what's already fallen out there this morning, which in general between Rhinelander and Wausau that we've seen reports of about an inch or two in some spots. But otherwise, though, we'll be watching for that next system and we'll be moving in. Here's Saturday afternoon. Notice the clock right there saying Saturday afternoon about 6 p.m. or so. We'll be watching for that snow that will be moving in as well. And then we'll continue through Sunday morning, maybe in a few waves as well, as we'll be watching for a second wave that moves in Sunday night and then lasting through parts of Monday morning before backing off as maybe a few lake effect snow showers as everything begins to move away. So all of this in mind, here's our first idea what the system could do. About 5 to 8 inches is the general idea that we're going with right now before we're all finished up. It's kind of the first idea here. So there's still more ideas that we're going to be keeping an eye on as this does develop. But it looks like a decent snowmaker on the way. It will be spread out so we can do this. So it's not going to happen very quickly, but it will be happening over the course of Saturday afternoon all the way through Monday morning. So here's the general idea. Temperatures right now in the 20s here in the viewing area supporting the snow that's already falling out there this morning. The morning snow that we're seeing will give way to a mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures in the lower 30s. The northeast wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. And by tonight, here we are, 15 degrees, mostly cloudy, cooling off a bit. Northeast wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, 7-day forecast. All right, there's the afternoon snow kicking in for you Saturday, continuing Saturday night and a Sunday as well. Don't forget the time change is also Sunday as 2 a.m. skips ahead to 3 a.m. So we lose an hour of sleep. Daylight goes later into the evening. Then some snow possibly lingering into Monday, mainly as lake effect. Tuesday and Wednesday we're drying out before more rain and snow Thursday.
Grocery bills remain high, even though the cost of food is down.
Food producers raised prices when their costs went up, but ingredient prices have been on the downswing for months.
So why aren't they passing along the savings? It may be because they have other expenses that remain high, like labor and transportation. But critics say now that companies see that people will pay higher prices, they are in no rush to give up profits and charge less. Between January 2022 and January 2023, grocery bills went up more than 11%. Many food companies are forecasting that they may slow down or pause prices, but not lower them.
Nearly 2 million popular Yeti coolers and gear cases are being recalled. It's due to the risk of magnets in the product detaching and being swallowed. The specific products are the Yeti Hopper M30 Soft Cooler 1.0 and 2.0, the Hopper M20 Soft Backpack Cooler, and the Sidekick Dry Gear Case. The cases and coolers have magnet-lined closures, which can fail, resulting in detached magnets. If 2 or more high-powered magnets are swallowed, they can attract to each other or to another metal object and get stuck inside the body. This can cause serious injury or death. There have been about 1,400 reports of magnet-lined closures degrading or failing. There haven't been any reports of injuries or of the magnets being swallowed. The consumers are advised to stop using the product and contact Yeti for a refund or replacement product.
Disney fans know there's nothing better than enjoying an ice-cold sweet treat during a hot day at the parks. But soon, you won't have to wait for your next visit to Disney, because one Disney fave is coming to grocery stores, Dole Whip. The tropical soft serve has been a staple at Disney parks since it was introduced at Magic Kingdom in 1984. Dole Packaged Foods has announced Dole Whip will soon be sold in stores nationwide. The dairy-free frozen treat will be available in 3 flavors: pineapple, mango, and strawberry. Look for it in your local freezer aisle.
Of course, it was designed and intended for the community, but it was also funded for and built by the community, which is really impressive, and that's something that we're very proud of.
Coming up at 6, the Northwoods is lucky to be nestled in generous amounts of natural beauty.
Find out how Manitowish Waters is excited to expand their year-round offerings with a new nature center.
Mad City, a division of Renuity, the local service you deserve, now backed by unmatched national strength. We are Wisconsin's #1 ranked remodeler. And with cabinet refacing, we can transform the entire look of your kitchen in as little as 2 days. In addition to our lifetime warranty, Mad City offers a price lock guarantee. Once you receive a free design consultation, we'll lock your price in and guarantee it for 1 year, no matter what. Plus, call now during our Spring Into Savings event. Receive $1,500 off a cabinet refacing project with 48 months, 0% interest, senior and military discounts. Plus a bonus, the first 50 homeowners who call now will receive a vacation voucher with purchase of a cabinet refacing project. Use it for a condo, hotel stay, or a cruise. Ask about our Do More discount on other home improvement products. Mad City, a division of Renuity, the local service you deserve, now backed by unmatched national strength.
Yeah, actually, I had just standard shelves, but now they're pull-out. And so you can reach in the back of the pantry without having to guess what's behind there.
We've shown some of our neighbors and friends, that have come by, and they really like our kitchen.
Mad City has more than 50,000 satisfied customers. And with cabinet refacing, updating your kitchen is fun, easy, and affordable. Add pull-out shelves, soft close doors and drawers, new countertops, and a kitchen sink. Call now. It's our Spring Into Savings event. Receive $1,500 off a cabinet refacing project with 48 months, 0% interest, senior and military discounts. Plus the bonus, the first 50 homeowners who call now will receive a vacation voucher with purchase of a cabinet refacing project. From Wausau and throughout north central Wisconsin, call 715-503-4198. That's 715-503-4198.
Good news. This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Choose FlexBuy on Escape and get 2.9% APR financing for 66 months plus $1,500 FlexBuy cash.
And welcome back. There's a 2-year-old who is a powerhouse in the scented candle industry, and she might be the youngest influencer on TikTok.
Everyone wants her stamp of approval, but she doesn't give it out lightly. Jeannie Moose reports.
Careful with that. She doesn't burn the candle at both ends. She sniffs it. Yucky, okay. She is to scented candles what Mikey was to cereal.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Move over, Mikey.
Why?
And this is Sunday.
Sunday is a 2-year-old Texas toddler who became famous on TikTok for her candle reviews. Her first was a nail biter.
No.
You don't like that one?
No.
Now candle companies push to have their products reviewed by Sunday. Good, all right. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
No, not that.
Even high-end designers aren't safe, says Sunday's mom.
She's really hard on Tom Ford.
Tom Ford got that dismissive head shake.
No.
Her 2-year-old vocabulary can shave a candle down to size.
No yuckies.
No yuckies.
No more that.
This is a kid with tastes ranging from seaweed to sardines.
I've never seen a 2-year-old have the palate that this child has.
Jimmy Kimmel had her on.
This is the most powerful baby in the candle industry.
To rate Courtney Cox's candle line, 3 got the sniff of approval, but 1...
No.
Sorry, Courtney.
Now Sunday hates to be parted.
No.
From her Jimmy Kimmel jacket... It's time to take the jacket off.
No.
Sunday's favorite smell isn't candles, it's coffee.
Does that smell good?
More that.
More that?
Some candles leave her conflicted.
No. You like that one? Yes. You do like that one? Well, which is it?
This 2-year-old influencer now has someone repping her and is branching out into food, for instance, cookies and drinks. She even raided LA's airport on a recent trip.
Do you like LAX? No.
But when it comes to candles, she knows how to wax lyrical.
No. No. No, no.
I am a very big candle connoisseur.
Oh.
I love good smelling things like Bath and Body Works.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
I need that kid to like prejudge everything for me so I can avoid the bad scents.
I mean, she's got the candles down, the coffee down. She seems
branching into
she's
food.
Fantastic.
This kid could be president, making all the decisions for everyone.
She's starting off in a very good foot.
I trust her, but I wonder what her opinion would be of our weather.
Hopefully good. Devin Biggs is on the weather deck now. Devin, what's your opinion of the weather?
No.
No?
No?
I'm kidding. I'm just saying what a lot of other people are probably thinking right now is they're sick and tired of this because it's March right now. I mean, I get it, but it's still March. We get snow this time of the year, and Mother Nature's not letting up anytime soon. Snow does continue to fall this morning. Temperatures in the 30s across the western parts of the state today, so things improve this afternoon. For us, we'll also be in the lower 30s, and farther down to the south, also some 30s. The entire state will be holding on to the clouds. A little more coming up after the break.
Cost Cutters doesn't cut corners, only fresh new looks. Save big this month at Cost Cutters. Buy one, get one half off sale on all styling and finishing products.
For 25 years, Janet Protasewicz was a prosecutor, fighting for justice for victims of crime, helping people like her and him and them. She believes everyone has the right to a safe community. As a judge, Janet upholds the Constitution, and she fiercely guards our rights and our freedoms. Judge Janet will bring change to the court. A common-sense, impartial judge who cares about us. Janet Protasewicz for Supreme Court.
My life changed dramatically. I was having trouble putting on socks and tying shoes and had such back pain. And after treatment by Dr. Dave, it's just been incredible. I'm back doing the things I love, biking and playing hockey and golf. No limitation.
Most commonly, people come in, the symptoms in one area, but the problem is actually starting in another. You have to look at all areas, find the root of the problem, fix everything at once.
No pain, and that's the thing I love about the care that's here. Dr. Drager takes his time with patients. These things are non-invasive. It's a treatment that is not painful in the least. Dr. Drager has done wonders for me, and I think he can do the same for you.
Here's your Newswatch 12 Snowmobile Trail Report, brought to you by your local Northern Wisconsin and Upper Peninsula Ski-Doo dealers.
Cost Cutters doesn't cut corners, only fresh new looks. Save big this month at Cost Cutters. Buy one, get one half off sale on all styling and finishing products.
Newswatch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Roadholt, and Devin Biggs.
All right, welcome back. Here's a sign that Northwoods residents are getting ready for winter to just be downright over with and spring to arrive. The Minocqua Chamber of Commerce posted on their Facebook that Snowy Cromer, the iconic figure that greets winter travelers, has come down. It's no more. This is video of Shrums Excavating doing the job. So bye-bye, Snowy, and we will hopefully see you next year. I say hopefully because you know how Mother Nature is with regards to the snow, because it took a few years for Snowy to come back after it was built in, I believe, 2019. It was the 2018-19 season was the last time it went up, and then we just hadn't had enough correct snow for it to happen.
And hopefully next year, you know, fingers crossed, everybody, we can get our ice castle back in the river.
It's hard to get both of them happening at the same time. You gotta get the lake ice to get at least a foot thick, and it's gotta be that right amount of ice. Because I mean, seeing an ice castle up close, it's just downright impressive. So you need that. And then of course the snow also for Snowy. So lately it's been about one or the other. So at least we had one of them this year.
That's true. At least we got one. You got to see one of them, Jackie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was promised multiple times by one Jeff Weller that we would have the snowiest winter on record. That was promised to me. That was promised to Salt. That was promised to Serenity.
True. We've heard it multiple times in the office.
Barely might just ever so slightly be like top 5.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Like,
yeah,
Trevor,
I mean, we are not done with the snow yet. So, I mean, we're still adding to our total. So it's still climbing up. We're into that 80-inch range now with the snow, especially that we got this morning. Do I think we'll crack top 5? It's going to be close, but we're going to have to see how it happens, especially with another interesting snow system on the way. And do I dare say maybe a winter storm? We are a winter storm. I'm just going to call it a winter storm because we do have winter storm watches that have been posted for the next system. So I'm just going to call it a winter storm right now. We'll just see where it goes. But here's what we're seeing right now. The snow that you see on that map is for the rest of this morning and early afternoon. So that's today's snow with about an inch or less possible. The next graphic you're going to see here, kind of a sticker shock, is the snow Saturday night through Monday. Note the time frame. It's spread out. So there'll be time to kind of plow things and work with things. So we can work with this. So 5 to 8 inches is not the end of the world, but it might slow your roll a bit. So we'll need to be smart with this one as it does develop. And of course, this is our first forecast on the system. So of course, we'll be fine tuning this as we do get closer. But otherwise, though, we do have the morning snow today giving way to clouds. And then more afternoon snow Saturday with the big snows lasting through Sunday. Also the time change on Sunday. A little more coming up after the break.
Here is your Newswatch 12 Ski and Board Report, brought to you by Ski Rule.
Sore back but hate mattress shopping? Yes.
Totally dread it.
Totally. Come to Slumberland and see how we've made mattress shopping easy.
How easy is that?
So easy.
So easy.
Get your sleep solution at Slumberland Furniture. You can always find great-looking furniture at incredible everyday low prices at Slumberland Furniture. Like these modern sectionals and sofas, starting as low as $3.99. And always free doorstep shipping. Get your look.
For less.
At Slumberland Furniture.
We protect your house.
We're doing it!
And your car.
We need to keep our energy up. I want to take me to Funky Town.
Because we know they're the launching pad to their dreams. And now you can save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com.
I'm Lynette. This is my husband, Arthur.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe her in her 70s.
I have recommended Consumer Cellular to so many people.
She was the one to convince me to come over to her side.
That's right.
Come over to Consumer Cellular and start saving. Get unlimited talk and text with the flexible data plan starting at just $20 a month.
The coverage has been excellent.
You know, it gives us exactly what we want.
You should go with Consumer Cellular.
Switch today. Call or go online.
The real value of a number all depends on who you are. After an accident, there's one critical number that helps you get your life back by factoring in your needs for today and tomorrow. That's where Habish, and Rotier's numbers really add up. With over 90 years of client successes and 13 offices to help you wherever you are. Trust Habish Personal Injury Attorneys to get the number that's right for you. Call 1-800-2HABISH.
Builder Service. We are your hometown hardware store. Plumbing, electrical, paint, automotive, keys, tools, lawn and garden. We're more than just a lumberyard. Highway 45 in Elko.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, hear about the number of snowmobilers tracked by the cross-country cruisers this season. Plus,
we have snow that's falling out of this morning. That fluffy snow is starting to track off towards the east, but there's another snowmaker on the way. Your full forecast is coming up.
And while some trails are closing, we'll bring you a bit of good news out of Minocqua. It's Friday, March 10th.
Newswatch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Lodeholtz, and Devin Biggs.
Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michael Lodeholtz.
And I'm Jackie Smith. The grand opening for Northwoods Educational Space is getting closer by the day.
The North Lakeland Discovery Center in Manitowish Waters is building a new nature center. People in the community have been working together to bring the finished product to life.
Newswatch 12's Matt Weaver stopped by to find out how the center will combine education and interaction.
Community has really come together to make this thing happen.
For the Discovery Center, the countdown to May continues.
Of course, it was designed and intended for the community, but it was also funded for and built by the community, which is really impressive, and that's something that we're very proud of.
Spokesperson Samantha Walters says their new nature center, built solely by private funding, already has its structure up.
One thing we did was design the building so that every element of the construction piece could also be used for education.
Now volunteers like Eric Koster, who is also the chair for the center's board, are filling the space with exhibits.
The pieces that we're doing now are the pieces that will be on display, that will be interactive. We had professional contractors obviously building the building itself, and now it's kind of this finished work and the little touches.
The exhibit includes a canoe, a simulated eagle's nest, a wildlife display, and natural artwork.
It will be educational primarily, but it's also going to be interactive, so we think that the younger kids coming in here will really have some fun, with the various things that will be on display.
While most of the exhibits will be ready come the spring, more is on the way.
We'll have the majority of the building ready in May, and then as you come back and visit throughout the summer, there'll be new things, new developments going on from now until the end of time. So this will be an ever-evolving destination for people to visit.
In Manitowish Waters, Matt Weaver, Newswatch 12.
It's great to see Manitowish Waters' new nature center. I mean, it's beautiful in the summer and the winter outdoors, but now they can go inside and a little protection from the weather.
Right, I think getting to experience the outside, inside, that sounds pretty ideal to me.
Absolutely, and hopefully people can enjoy the weather upcoming with Devin Biggs in the Weather Center now. Devin, what's on the horizon for us?
Well, we got more snow on the way. We have snow that's falling out there already this morning. I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag right now. Some are tired of it. Some are saying, let's hold on to it as long as we can. But for now, though, it looks like the roads have not been plowed just yet in Rhinelander, but that'll be happening before you know it soon. But meanwhile, visibility levels are down out there this morning, around 1.5 miles across the area, where some of the more moderate snow bands are falling out there. So it might make me a little tricky at times, but nothing to cancel anything. So we'll be okay there. And as expected, a lot of the advisories are getting trimmed back, though. We still have the winter weather advisories for these counties here highlighted in a purple till about 9 until 9 a.m. later this morning. While further down or further up toward the north, though, watching for our next system that will be moving in with a winter storm watch already posted through Monday morning. But here's the snow. It's currently moving in at this point, so we're going to keep it going for a while yet. We definitely see that white there moving into parts of Rhinelander too. We know the radar has a hard time kind of seeing that, but we'll keep it going this morning, backing off late morning to the afternoon. Temperatures right now are in the 20s out there, supporting that snow, and we'll see temperatures warm up into the 30s again today, at least getting close to that freezing mark. But we might be melting a little bit of snow this morning into the afternoon, but again, highs close to freezing.
Thank you, Devin. So you might be wondering, how many snowmobilers have you actually seen out and about this year?
One snowmobile club took the time to keep track. The cross-country cruisers take care of the trails in Minocqua, Arborvita, and Woodruff. And on Facebook, they had people guess the amount of riders who went through their system this season. Winner Robert Wilkes ended up being less than 100 off in total. He said 57,012 riders went through the cruiser system. That was the actual number.
Another club in that area, the Minocqua Forest Riders, has good news for snowmobilers in their latest trail report. The president of the club, Kurt Christensen, said in the report that even though the temperature is warming a bit, he expects the season to continue. There is a good base on the Minocqua area trails, and the Forest Riders groomers are reporting that almost all of their trails are in very good to excellent condition. Just be sure to be alert while on the trails and always put safety first when you are driving.
Up next on Newswatch 12 today, we'll be joined by Tom Barnett and Stevie Hank from the Oneida County Fair.
Fair fundraising is in full swing, and learn how you can get involved in the upcoming telethon. Stay with us. We're back in 2 minutes.
What does it cost to buy off a judge? For extremist Dan Kelly, he's for sale for $20,000. In 2020, Kelly conveniently changed his mind about whether to judge the Tim Zignego case. Kelly had recused himself. Then he pocketed $20,000 in contributions from Zignego and his family, and Kelly unrecused himself so he could judge the case. Justice shouldn't be for sale. Dan Kelly is too corrupt, too extreme.
Mad City, a division of Renuity, the local service you deserve, now backed by unmatched national strength. We are Wisconsin's #1 ranked remodeler. And with cabinet refacing, we can transform the entire look of your kitchen in as little as 2 days. In addition to our lifetime warranty, Mad City offers a price lock guarantee. Once you receive a free design consultation, we'll lock your price in and guarantee it for 1 year, no matter what. Plus, call now during our Spring into Savings event. Receive $1,500 off a cabinet refacing project with 48 months, 0% interest, senior and military discounts. Plus a bonus, the first 50 homeowners who call now will receive a vacation voucher with purchase of a cabinet refacing project. Use it for a condo, hotel stay, or a cruise. Ask about our Do More discount on other home improvement products. Mad City, a division of Renuity, the local service you deserve, now backed by unmatched national strength.
Yeah, actually, I had just standard shelves, but now they're pull-out. And so you can reach in the back of the pantry without having to guess what's behind there.
We've shown some of our neighbors and friends, that have come by, and they really like our kitchen.
Mad City has more than 50,000 satisfied customers. And with cabinet refacing, updating your kitchen is fun, easy, and affordable. Add pull-out shelves, soft close doors and drawers, new countertops, and a kitchen sink. Call now. It's our Spring into Savings event. Receive $1,500 off a cabinet refacing project with 48 months, 0% interest, senior and military discounts. Plus the bonus, the first 50 homeowners who call now will receive a vacation voucher with purchase of a cabinet refacing project. From Wausau and throughout north central Wisconsin, call 715-503-4198. That's 715-503-4198.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling after this morning. We have snow that's falling across the viewing area. Here's Will Gober and Rhinelander. This camera's on the roof of Mel's Trading Post. And not much in the way of any plowing happening just yet in downtown Rhinelander, but the plows are out. They're working on the roads, and those roads will begin to improve with the snow tapering off and the plows doing what they need to do. Winter weather advisories are getting trimmed back. They're still up till about 9 a.m. for these counties highlighted here because of the snow that is still falling out there this morning. Adams County's winter storm warning has since expired. But looking off towards the north and west, here's another general idea here that there's another system on the way. A winter storm watch that is posted, and that will last through Monday morning. We'll see upgrades and expansions as we do get closer. But otherwise, though, here's a general idea. We still have snow that's developing after this morning. We can see it on the radar, especially near Green Bay. And it's falling near Rhinelander as well. Just the radar has a hard time kind of seeing the snow sometimes just because of the distance from the radar over to where the snow's falling in our neck of the woods. Let's zoom things out right now and give you the bigger picture. So here's low pressure here, tracking off towards the north and east. We have high pressure right behind it, so we'll calm down for a bit. Unfortunately, the clouds will not break up, but we'll at least calm down for a bit before another system on toward the west tracks off towards the north and east, and that'll give us our next opportunity for snow that will begin to move in and some decent snow accumulation Saturday night lasting through Monday morning. So here's Futurecast right here. The last of the snow will be getting out of here during the morning and early afternoon period, maybe a few leftover flurries. The clouds pretty much holding on pretty much through the forecast period, even through Saturday as well. So we'll start Saturday off fine, maybe some snow off toward the west, but then as we head towards Saturday evening, that's when things start to change. Before we get to that, here's what we're seeing this morning. So about another inch or less before we're all finished up, mainly along the line from Rhinelander down toward the south. Off toward the east, maybe another 1.5 inches possible before this starts to taper off. And this is additional snowfall on top of what we've already seen. But now the next system that's going to be moving in will be moving in from the west going toward the east. Kicking in later on this evening here, or excuse me, later on Saturday evening and moving in from the west toward the east. So here's Saturday at 6 o'clock. And this is that first round of it, and we'll be seeing another round of it getting going as we head towards Sunday evening as well. So pretty much a good amount of snow moving in between these two waves. And then once we get towards Monday morning, maybe a few leftover lake effect snow showers, but most of it will start to taper off as we head towards Monday morning. Here's our first general idea on what we're looking at here for snow accumulations here for Saturday night through Monday. So 5 to 8 inches possible before we're all finished up. Snowmobilers and skiers will be loving this, and we'll be fine-tuning this forecast as we do progress forward. Temperatures right now are in the 20s here across the Northwoods, with even some upper 20s further down to the south. So the snow that's falling this morning, not melting anytime soon, at least this morning. We will make it close to freezing, so maybe melting a little bit later this afternoon. Morning snow, then mostly cloudy by the afternoon. Northeast wind at about 20 miles per hour. By tonight, here we are, 15 degrees, mostly cloudy. Northeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. There is the afternoon snow getting going on Saturday with highs in the lower 30s. Continuing Saturday night with a decent amount of snow on Sunday. The time change also Sunday as 2 a.m. becomes 3 a.m. Snow lingers through Monday before we dry out Tuesday and Wednesday. And then more rain and snow as we head towards your Thursday.
Thanks, Devin. The United County Fair is a staple of the community here in the Northwoods. And to help keep it spectacular, a lot of hard work and talent has to go into it.
Absolutely. And joining us now from the United County Fair to talk about their telethon, annual telethon, is Tom Barnett and Stevie Hankton. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, a lot of work goes into making the United County Fair happen every year. Hard work from you guys and a lot of volunteers and people behind the scenes. And thanks for making it happen each year.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. We have a great crew, and we love doing it. So.
And part of that is this annual telethon. Now, there's a lot that can go into the telethon.
Yes.
So just kind of break us down. What is the telethon?
So the telethon is one of our biggest fundraisers that we have throughout the year. We bring in a bunch of talent for viewing pleasure. We stream it live from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay.
So it's a 12-hour telethon, and we akin it to like the Jerry Lewis MDA telethon that used to happen. So we'll bring in a bunch of talent, and every now and then we'll pop on and say, hey, if you're enjoying what you're seeing and you're having a good time, please consider donating to the United County Fair, and they can do that through our online links, or they can stop into my studio downtown to drop it off personally, and maybe we can put you on the air and accept the donation that way.
So what kind of acts are you looking for?
We are looking for everything. We want variety, music acts, magic acts. I mean, if you can suck down some helium and sing ABBA tunes in the form of a chipmunk, we want to see it. All right.
See, I know Jackie got a treat throwing device for her
Really?
For Christmas. She got it from a dear friend of hers.
Yeah, someone whose name rhymes with Scheichel.
Exactly. Someone totally unnamed. But she could potentially catapult food for Florida Catch?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's talent right there.
Pet tricks are more than welcome.
Well, fantastic. So people looking to get involved, how would they reach out to sign up their act, get a hold of you, just anything really to help this process along?
Well, if people want to send us their videos, they can send them to Tom's email at
ocfaircore@hotmail.com.
Yep.
So they can send pre-recorded talent videos as well?
Yes.
Oh, so you can do it right from the comfort of your own home? Oh, interesting.
Or they can come to the studio while we're doing the telethon and show it to us live.
And is there any age limit, or anyone can do this?
Anyone.
Anyone can do anything.
Yep.
So how many years has this been going on exactly, your telethon?
This will be our third annual.
Yeah, third.
Third annual. So it started during COVID then?
Yes.
Interesting. How did that work out?
That actually worked out really well. We had a lot of people join in, and because of COVID, everyone staying home, they loved it. And it was one of our biggest fundraisers for the year, so we just kept it going, and every year it gets a little bit better, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So.
Yeah. Do you have a specific goal you're trying to reach with this telethon?
Last year we made around 8,000.
Wow.
In fundraising. Yeah, and it helps, So if we can make that or a little bit more, then it really helps the fair out, because we're completely self-funded. There's no help from the county. We are our own 501c3, and fundraising and partnerships with local businesses is really the only way we can put on a fair.
Well, that's fantastic. Hopefully it goes extraordinarily well. And if people want to swing by and watch it happening live, is that also an option?
Yes. Yeah, we promote that, yeah.
Oh,
we
so
got chairs set up so people can sit and watch.
See, that's nice about it, you know, having less restrictions now with the COVID kind of passing through, and people can come in person and see the magic happen.
Yeah.
And then what's the date going to be? And you said 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So what day is this going to happen?
April 1st.
April 1st, what a joke.
Yeah, so if you have jokes, bring those in too.
Yeah. Michael's always got some puns on him.
There you go. Michael can send in a pre-recorded pun then.
Oh, goodness.
It's going to be just clips of Michael's puns on air.
Yes. You'll just hear Jackie and Devin groaning in the background.
All right, and then one more time for anyone who wants to reach out for more information, or if they want to send in a pre-recorded video, what is the best way to do that?
You can send it to me through my email, ocfaircore@hotmail.com. Or they can call me at 715-420-1001.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming out, guys. We appreciate you and wish you all the best of luck and a lot of talent coming up on April 1st.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you and your kitty cat.
Yes, that'd be great.
We'll see. You'll have to maybe put Da Vinci away because Flora's territorial. But thank you guys so much. And coming up, we have What's Trending, including which city is changing their name in honor of Taylor Swift and her upcoming Eras Tour.
Plus, learn about which paranormal virus is thawing out after thousands of years. Those stories up next in What's Trending.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
The new 2023 GMC Sierra AT4X is equipped to conquer the great outdoors or the great indoors. Welcome to the peak of premium off-roading. Or get 2.9% APR for 5 years and no monthly payments for 90 days on turbo high-output engine Sierra light-duty elevation models.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
Visit Ho-Chunk Gaming Acusa to experience exciting action on the hottest slot machines and electronic table games. With big fun, you get bigger rewards while playing with your Rewards Club card. Enjoy special gaming offers, food and entertainment discounts, and more. Hungry? No problem. Escape to the oasis of Swiftwater Lounge for drinks, food, and fun. We'll see you at Ho-Chunk Gaming Acusa, your place to play.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
6:17, time for What's Trending. And if I'm talking instead of Jackie, that means we get to introduce her as our Taylor Swift expert. We finally have a Taylor Swift story after a little bit of a lull. So, Jackie, you're rejoicing, aren't you?
I'm ready. So, Taylor Swift fans won't just get to see their favorite artist perform in Arizona. They'll be doing it in a city named after her because the city of Glendale is temporarily changing its name to honor the start of her tour.
Wow.
Glendale's Mayor Jerry Wires is reportedly set to announce the new name Monday as the singer kicks off the Eras Tour at the State Farm Arena. The new name will reportedly go into effect during her concert dates on March 17th and 18th. Wires will also give the scoop on go-to places for fans to continue the party after the concerts. And according to the statement from the city, using plenty of Taylor puns, there is no need to calm down. We're fearless in doing something highly unusual to celebrate the fact that Taylor's concert starts right here. The Eras Tour is a highly anticipated event, as you'll recall, all the drama with Ticketmaster and fans trying to get their hands on concert tickets. So the actual name they'll go with is currently a blank space. Fans only have a few more days until the big unveil, and Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour kicks off March 17th in what is currently known as Glendale, Arizona.
Which is also known as, make sure you wear Green Day or you get pinched.
Oh, yeah.
St. Patrick's Day. Is that even still a thing where people get pinched?
I don't know.
I've never seen or heard of anyone doing that until recently, actually.
I just remember back in school, it's like, don't pinch anyone and get sent to the principal's office or something like that.
Well, I know a lot of people posting on Twitter. They have their costumes. There's lots of green going around. I mean, her first album had a green theme. I wish I was going to the opening night. More tickets became available the other day.
Oh, yeah, you were personally victimized, but thankfully had a successful resolution with the Ticketmaster fiasco.
Yes. Well, I have 105 days until my birthday, 22, the 22 concert, June 23rd. I'm going to be there.
That's going to be great.
Just not that I'm counting or anything.
No, not that you're counting.
She's counting down to the second on being ready for Taylor Swift.
June 23rd, U.S. Bank. In case Taylor Nation, Taylor Swift, you guys hear this, I'll be there on my 22nd birthday.
That's
105 days.
Front row?
Unfortunately, not front row.
Well,
I have nosebleeds unless someone wants to give me a front row ticket for my birthday.
You'll at least be there, so at least
Yeah,
be a
I'll
cool
be there.
experience.
I'm just throwing it out there.
well, I can see you're clearly excited about this, and Taylor Nation will be as well. But moving right along away from the Taylor Swift Glendale, higher temperatures in the Arctic could lead to potential health threats in the future. NASA climate scientists say the warmer conditions are causing part of the region's permafrost to thaw. Permafrost is a frozen layer of soil that is beneath the surface, and scientists say if the permafrost thaws significantly, some viruses that have been lying dormant for tens of thousands of years could emerge and possibly endanger animals and humans. 1/5 of the northern hemisphere is covered by permafrost, since it provides an oxygen-free environment that isn't penetrated by light. Scientists say it's like a time capsule of viruses and mummified remains of long-gone animals. NASA says efforts should be made to stop the thaw by addressing overall climate concerns.
So it looks like we're just bringing back a lot.
We're waiting for the next pandemic to start.
Yeah, it sounds like, these thawing of viruses could be the next, zombie apocalypse potential.
I know you guys titled this. You guys titled the story "Zombie Virus," and I'm like, come on, I've never heard of a zombie virus.
Well, they're coming back from the dead.
Well, apparently so. So I guess we're all just all going to wait for the next.
There's a lot of popular zombie TV shows out there right now, especially The Last of Us with Pedro Pascal. Very popular on HBO Max.
Yeah, right. I mean, here we go again with, we'll have to see, what is it going to be every 10 years now we get a pandemic, or hopefully not. But
we'll see.
hopefully just in the TV shows.
Yeah, but maybe they'll actually get ahead of these things and maybe start making some health advances before then. So we'll be ready for it. Just like our next story, which we're ready for is what I'm trying to get at here. An alligator stolen from a Texas zoo when it was just an egg is back with its family. We talked about this a while back. We do have an update. The gator known as Tiwa is fitting in just fine at a zoo near San Antonio, Texas, and Parks and Wildlife Authorities found the reptile in a pen when they were on an unrelated investigation. They say a woman admitted to stealing the egg about 20 years ago from the, quote, Animal World and Snake Farm Zoo. It was just a roadside attraction, and she volunteered there. She raised the gator as her pet, but did not have a permit for it. Game wardens returned the gator to the zoo in March, and they say she is healthy and had been well fed. The woman faces 2 misdemeanor charges, punishable by a fine. The zoo director says the woman was distraught when the gator was taken from her, and he says she is welcome to come visit anytime. So at least they're being nice to her, well, although it's kind of pros and cons. I was wondering if she was going to face any charges for this. It sounds like Jules had to pay a whole bunch of money now about it, but at least they're being nice to her by saying, yes, you can visit the gator, but you got to obey the law.
That's pretty I mean, it's glad that it's not good she took the egg, but glad that she took care of the gator for years. Clearly raised it.
That's impressive,
20 years she raised it, and before that she volunteered at the zoo.
Yeah.
So she had some knowledge of how to properly care for the animals.
Yeah, somewhere in her mind she was caring.
Yeah, she was somehow trying to do the right thing. It just wasn't the right legal thing.
Yeah, that wasn't right legally. I mean, you're not supposed to just take an egg without permission.
Absolutely, especially breaking into zoos. That's also...
Yeah, right. Well, here's the next 3 days as we'll be watching for snow, and we'll have more coming up after the break.
What does it cost to buy off a judge? For extremist Dan Kelly, he's for sale for $20,000. In 2020, Kelly conveniently changed his mind about whether to judge the Tim Zignego case. Kelly had recused himself. Then he pocketed $20,000 in contributions from Zignego and his family, and Kelly unrecused himself so he could judge the case. Justice shouldn't be for sale. Dan Kelly is too corrupt, too extreme.
Get the latest news on the weekends with Newswatch 12. Saturday and Sunday at 10 with your weekend news team. Kyle Pazorski, Mohammed Abdul Kawi, and Conrad Sapinski. Newswatch 12.
Sue right, Jake middle, me on the left.
Yeah, I knew I'd win.
Are you saying
What's
something?
really happening over there?
I think you're on mute.
There's no substitute for real gaming fun. Go where fun lives. Old Chum Gaming Wittenberg.
The local water experts at Culligan can take care of everything but the kitchen sink. Actually, we do that too. Culligan, here for every water worry.
Menards has everything to add curb appeal to your home. Ideal garage doors add a stylish look to your home's exterior. We have more than 1,000 garage door designs to choose from. Get a 9x7 insulated garage door for $549.99 after rebate. Update your garage door with a Chamberlain garage door opener. Our chain drive model comes with built-in Wi-Fi, allowing you to control your garage door from anywhere. Get it today for just $139.99 after 11% off at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Does your home have a crawl space? When cold weather arrives, that can mean cold floors, frozen pipes, and higher energy bills. Protect your family and keep the cold air out this winter with Crawl Space Encapsulation by SureDry. Encapsulation keeps your crawl space clean, protects pipes, and insulates your home so floors are warmer and energy bills are lower. An encapsulated crawl space means a nicer home. Call SureDry and schedule your free estimate today.
And welcome back. Three Lakes High School's boys basketball team was in Suring Thursday night, taking on Gibraltar in the D5 sectional semifinals.
Newswatch 12 Solmaya was there and has this game breakdown.
Three Lakes boys basketball team was back in action after taking down Gillett on Saturday. They took on Gibraltar at Suring High School in the D5 sectional semifinal, where the winner would take on Newman Catholic in Rhinelander on Saturday. Here in the first half, Three Lakes used the fast break to their momentum. Some great ball movement down the court, plus the extra pass from LJ Terlizzi equals a Jared Kaufman bucket down low for the Blue Jays. The good ball movement wasn't done there for Three Lakes. A flurry of quick passes finds Josh Koger in the corner, and he's going to drive in and call his own number, hitting the tough shot plus the foul, and the Blue Jays are locked in. However, Gibraltar proved to be too much as Will Freidenfeld slammed this one home, and Gibraltar end up winning this one 60-44. With the loss, Three Lakes season ends and they finish with an 18-8 record. Reporting here in Suring, I'm Saul Meyer, Newswatch 12.
All right, let's get things rolling out here this morning, and we're watching snow that's continuing to fall overall, and we'll keep that going mainly during the morning period. Road conditions are not very great at all, so we're going to keep that going for a while yet this morning, where you see snow-covered roads, so we'll need to be smart with that. Road crews are out working on those roads. But otherwise, though, we do have some advisories that are posted as well, and of course, more snow moving in, too. Here's the winter weather advisory set of purple, winter storm warnings to the east, but you see that winter storm watch to the north and west. That's our next system that will move in as we head over the weekend. Here's a look at the radar. So we're going to be watching for snow that's continuing to develop. Now we're seeing it falling here in Rhinelander. And we'll keep that going as we progress forward in time, but backing off by late morning to the afternoon. Here's the travel forecast for today. So by this afternoon, we're better. The snow will end. Temperatures in the 30s. We remain mostly cloudy in the western parts of the state. For us, though, not too bad either. We'll be in the lower 30s with a mostly cloudy sky. And further down to the south, more 30s on the way, remaining mostly cloudy. Let's check out today's Birthday Club.
Jam, pump it up while your feet are stumping. And the jam is pumping. Look ahead, the crowd is jumping. Pump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. See, cause that's where the party's at, and you find out if you do that. Jam is pumping, look ahead, the crowd are jumping. Pump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. See, cause that's where the party's at, and you find out if you do that. A place to stay, get your booty on.
Weather Watch 12 with Devin Biggs, 5 to 7 a.m.
A convicted felon kidnapped and raped a 15-year-old girl, abducting her off the street in broad daylight. Judge Janet Protasewicz could have sentenced him to 20 years. Instead, she put him back on our streets.
What detractors would say is you having been soft on a violent sexual crime.
I would say that that's ridiculous. Judge Protasewicz puts our families at risk, and putting her on our Supreme Court, that's what's ridiculous. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Bruce Orthodontics, changing lives one smile at a time. Rhinelander, Minocqua, Eagle River, Phillips, and the greater Northwoods area. Treating patients of all ages.
Hi, I'm Brian from Creative Granite. When I need the forecast from Minocqua, I go to WJFW.com for my hometown forecast.
Your hometown weather, available 24/7 at WJFW.com.
Whether it's for work or play, you want a truck that'll get the job done right. We have them all. Half-ton trucks, Power Strokes, Cummins, Duramax, SUVs, over 800 to choose from. Know that all Lenz trucks are fully inspected, certified clean, can be purchased online, and can be delivered right to your door. It's our way of saying thanks to our past and future customers for the last 35 years. Go now to LenzTruck.com. Lenz Truck.
Are your floors looking worn and outdated? Stop by Eagle Floor Covering in Eagle River for all your flooring needs.
View our large selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and area rugs.
We have a knowledgeable staff, competitive pricing, and free estimates. Locally owned and operated for over 2 decades.
Come in and let over 40 years of combined sales and service experience help you select the right floor for your lifestyle and budget.
Eagle Floor Covering on Twilight Lane off Highway 70 West, across from Eagle River Cabinets.
See your local Northern Wisconsin and UP Ski-Doo dealers.
WMC's lawsuit
if successful, would make it much more difficult for the state to respond to the spills of hazardous substances here in our home.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, hear from a group condemning the spills law and how they hope to impact the cleanup when it comes to hazardous spills. Plus,
the snow is falling after this morning. We're just getting started, though, because even though we catch a break later today, there's more snow moving in later this weekend. Your full forecast is coming up.
And learn about snowmobile trail closures this season. It's Friday, March 10th.
Newswatch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Lodeholtz, and Devin Biggs.
Good morning, and thank you for waking up with us. I'm Jackie Smith.
And I'm Michael Lodeholtz.
And yes, we had some snow, a little snow in the cars this morning, but pretty easy cleanup. I didn't have to wait forever.
Exactly. It wasn't the wet snow. It really light, fluffy, able just to dust off.
Yeah, which the beginning of the season, I didn't like powder snow, but now I'm a pretty big fan of it. We have Devin in the Weather Center to tell us what we can expect for today and our weekend.
Yes, we have a little bit more snow on the way before we're all finished up this morning. We'll start to back that off late morning to the afternoon. And so far, roads have not been plowed yet in Rhinelander, at least from the looks of the camera. Kind of hard to tell, but I don't think they've been plowed just yet. But they will be soon, though, so don't be surprised if it takes a little bit to get to where you need to go this morning. At least in downtown Rhinelander, I haven't seen much plowing on that camera, but I'm sure the plows are definitely out. But otherwise, though, about 1.5 miles visibility, so visibility levels are down as the snow does continue to fall this morning. But we're going to be watching for winter weather advisories that will be dropping at 9 a.m. this morning for these counties highlighted here. That's pretty much all that's left with that. But further off towards the north, look at this. Winter storm watch is posted for our next system that will be approaching soon. So here's the general idea. So the snow continues to fall this morning, tracking from the west to the east. So again, late morning to the afternoon, we will be done with this system. But here's the temperatures right now in the 20s out there, even upper 20s. Further down toward the south, but the snow that we're seeing this morning, your bus stop forecast, middle 20s and those snow showers, but temperatures will warm up during the afternoon period with lower 30s on the way and a mostly cloudy sky.
Thank you, Devin. The man that was arrested for allegedly starting a fire on purpose in a building just west of Rhinelander last week made an appearance in court on Thursday. 34-year-old Chad Bambro is charged with arson and unsafe burning. Bambro appeared by video from the Oneida County Jail. Judge Michael Bloom and Bambro discussed receiving counsel for the case. Bambro will be in court again March 27th for his adjourned initial appearance. He is currently still in jail on a $25,000 cash bond.
An Antigo man convicted of child sexual assault is out on bond. In February, 50-year-old Paul Broski was found guilty of 8 counts of second-degree sexual assault. Broski was convicted of assaulting a 13-year-old victim weekly between 2003 and 2005. His bond was set at $10,000, and he paid his bail the day of his conviction. Broski faces up to 30 years in prison on each of the 8 counts of second-degree sexual assault. His sentencing date has not yet been decided. A Wisconsin advocacy group held a press conference on Thursday.
They are condemning a lawsuit which they say could undermine a piece of state legislation called the Spills Law. The Wisconsin Manufacturers Commerce Organization is the largest business association in Wisconsin.
They are suing the state DNR and Natural Resources Board, saying the agencies have not gone through the proper processes to enforce the Spills Law. The law requires anyone who caused a hazardous spill to clean it up. According to the Midwest Environmental Advocates, it's a bedrock of environmental and public health protection law.
WMC's lawsuit, if successful, would make it much more difficult for the state to respond to the spills of hazardous substances here in our home.
Gibbert went on to say that the WMC's lawsuit would strip the state's regulatory power to hold private companies liable if a hazardous spill were to happen.
The lawsuit would hamper quick response and clear accountability, the very things that the public is demanding right now. And while those demands are being made, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce wants to move our state backwards.
Newswatch 12 reached out to WMC for comment, receiving a response that said, quote, "Our lawsuit has nothing to do with the overturning or weakening of Wisconsin's spills law."
The snowmobile trail closed in St. Germain. The trail over the swamp off Corridor 15 near Old 70 leading to Sportsman Chalet is closed due to unsafe conditions. That's according to the St. Germain Boboan Snowmobile Club. They ask that riders use caution during late season riding.
Recently, Eagle River firefighters conducted an ice water rescue training in the Eagle River near Your Boat Club. With temperatures starting to warm up, the department asks people to be very cautious on the ice. President Biden traveled to Philadelphia on Thursday to deliver an address on his new budget proposal.
The president laid out various elements of his nearly $7 trillion plan for fiscal year 2024, including securing Medicare and Social Security. Mr. Biden pledges to cut $3 trillion from the federal deficit over the next decade, a plan to save money by raising taxes on wealthy Americans and corporations. The president says that his budget gives working-class Americans a fighting chance, and that he's willing to meet with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and Republicans to negotiate a deal.
I'm ready to meet with the Speaker anytime, tomorrow, if he has his budget. Lay it down, tell me what you want to do, I'll show you what I want to do, see what we can agree on, if we don't agree on, let's see what we vote on.
Biden's administration is requesting $842 billion, which is $26 billion more than last year's enacted budget. It covers all sorts of investments in manufacturing, climate, education, and healthcare. The Mexican drug cartel has apparently apologized after 4 Americans were kidnapped after entering the country last Friday.
2 of those Americans were killed. An innocent Mexican woman also died.
NBC's Chris Pallone has the latest on the investigation from Washington.
The bodies of 2 Americans killed in Mexico are now back in the U.S. a week after their group crossed the border and came under fire. Investigators believe a notorious Mexican drug cartel attacked the group in a likely case of mistaken identity. And now a surprising twist. 5 men left beaten and bound near the scene of the kidnapping in Matamoros, along with a note appearing to be an apology from the cartel itself.
They made a huge mistake. They killed 2 Americans. And they know that the Mexican government going after them. They know that we're going to go after them as well.
The letter obtained by the Associated Press claims the attackers acted against the cartel's rules. It says in part, the Gulf Cartel Scorpion Group strongly condemns the events of Friday, March 3rd. For this reason, we have decided to hand over those involved. It's unclear right now whether those men in the picture are the actual attackers.
Good morning, America!
5 people set out from South Carolina last week to bring Latavia McGee to Mexico for a medical procedure. 1 stayed behind in the U.S., lacking the documents needed to cross the border. The other 4 were attacked and kidnapped. McGee is one of 2 survivors.
She watched them die.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham now pushing to declare 9 Mexican cartels foreign terrorist organizations.
We're going to unleash the fury and might of the United States against these cartels.
The cartel ended its letter asking society to remain calm. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.
Coming up next, while the game fishing season is over, there's still some time for anglers to get out there.
Learn about what fish are still floating around that are keeping fishers out on the ice.
Snow still continues to fall across the viewing area, but we'll be seeing things improving as the day progresses on. Your full forecast is coming up next.
They peak in the fall, but are a welcome addition to our salads and soups. They're beets, and today we'll show you how to cook them.
For 25 years, Janet Protasewicz was a prosecutor, fighting for justice for victims of crime, helping people like her and him and them. She believes everyone has the right to a safe community. As a judge, Janet upholds the Constitution, and she fiercely guards our rights and our freedoms. Judge Janet will bring change to the court. A common-sense, impartial judge who cares about us. Janet Protasewicz for Supreme Court.
Some numbers simply have more meaning than others. After an accident, there's one critical number. The number that helps you get your life back by factoring in your needs for today and tomorrow. That's where Habish, Habish, and Rotier's numbers really add up. With over 90 years of client successes and 13 offices to help you wherever you are. Trust Habish Personal Injury Attorneys to get the number that's right for you. Call now.
Goodwill starts with you every time you shop and donate.
Your support opens the door to new opportunities and creates possibilities for people with barriers to employment. When you shop Goodwill, you'll find home decor, clothing that fits your unique style, and other one-of-a-kind treasures. You'll also keep items out of the landfill, all while supporting job training, financial coaching, and more. When you shop at and donate to Goodwill, you open doors to possibilities for neighbors in your community. Goodwill starts with you.
Us. This isn't us. Is it? When did we get so connected to our devices and so disconnected from each other? And when our phones have turned us into this? LT, what do you do when you're a company that sells them? We gotta fix this. It's time to find what we're missing. Join us in taking a break from our devices. Take the phones down for 5 challenge for 5 days, 5 hours, or even just 5 minutes. Feels good. And let's find us again. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
I absolutely feel that Tiger Lily is getting a great education with RVA. She is challenged and she's not bored. She enjoys her classwork.
I love the teachers. The teachers are the best part. My teachers are very friendly and they're easy to reach out to when I need help with an assignment. The teachers are always there when you need help.
What I love about RVA is the flexibility, first. But second is that Tiger Lily is so happy with this school, with her teachers, and with what she's learning. It's awesome.
All right, welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there this morning. We're quiet in downtown Rhinelander, at least with regards to most traffic. We're seeing a little bit of traffic now. The snow still falls, though, and we're not seeing much plowing just down the area roads. I'm sure they'll be working on that very shortly. I'm sure they're probably just waiting for most of the snow to be done before really getting aggressive with that plowing, but I'm sure most of them are out doing what they need to do. But otherwise, winter weather advisories posted until about 9 a.m. this morning for the counties highlighted there in the purple shade, but further off towards the north and west, we are watching a winter storm watch that is posted at our next system that's going to be moving in later on this weekend. Saturday night through Monday, we'll be seeing this system approaching. But for now, we still see snow falling across the region this morning, especially near Green Bay and stretching off towards the north and west. As the day progresses on, we'll see improvement with that as the snow will be tapering off by late morning into the afternoon, and we will remain mostly cloudy with a few flurries out there overall. Here's the area low pressure right here tracking from the west going toward the east. We'll push this out of here. We have high pressure right about in here as well. However, the clouds will not break up much from this at all, but we're going to be watching for our next system approaching as we head towards Saturday night. We'll be moving in rather quickly with more opportunities for snow. But futurecast for today, the snow ends during the morning and afternoon period, maybe a few flurries left over if you're lucky, otherwise mostly cloudy. And they'll be watching the clouds moving in again. They're pretty much lingering around through Saturday morning as well. But then there's our next system that starts to approach by Saturday afternoon. Now it'll give us more snow. Before we talk about that, here's additional snowfall we can see this morning before we're all finished up. Most spots another half-inch or less on top of what's already fallen before we're all finished up. Another inch though before things start to back off for the north and east. You can see the information continues to come in as we do proceed forward. But otherwise, though, here's our next system approaching from the west going toward the east. We're going to be seeing snow approaching from the west going toward the east by later Saturday evening, and then continuing, though, overnight. So by Sunday morning, that round will be moving through. Then another round really moves in by late Saturday or late Sunday afternoon as well. So this is a Saturday afternoon through Sunday event as well, and lingering through parts of Monday morning. So by Monday morning, we'll taper off to maybe a few lake effect snow showers, and then things will start to improve from there. Here's our first general idea with the system right now. At least in our neck of the woods, 5 to 8 inches of snow before we're all finished up. You get closer toward the lakes where some lake enhanced snow could happen, maybe locally higher amounts there. But this is our first general idea for the snow. We'll definitely be fine-tuning this forecast as we do get closer, but be ready for some more snow over a longer stretch of time, Saturday afternoon through Monday. This is not going to be happening all quickly. But otherwise, so temperatures right now are in the 20s right now, even upper 20s further down to the south. So the snow falling out there is sticking around this morning. But we might see a little melting later today because temperatures will get close to freezing. The morning snow will give way to a mostly cloudy sky. That northeast wind up to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, here we are, 15 degrees, mostly cloudy. Everything calms down. Northeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, 7-day forecast. All right, so there's the snow that kicks up again by Saturday, lasting through Sunday. The time change also on Sunday as 2 a.m. becomes 3 a.m. A little bit more snow Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday we dry out, and then more rain and snow again as we head towards your Thursday. Jackie and Michael?
Thanks, Devin. The game fishing season is on pause until the beginning of May.
And though temperatures may be getting warmer, there's still time for anglers to get out on the ice.
Just because you can't fish for walleye, bass, or northern doesn't mean the fishing has slowed down.
Newswatch 12's Nick Van Zyl caught up with some local bait shop owners to find out more.
Most panfish guys, this is what they live for all year round.
Scott Brandenburg, owner of Scotty's Bait in Three Lakes, says once game season closes, most switch to pan fishing.
As ice starts to melt and deteriorate, the water starts going down the holes, the crappies get active.
The switch in species also calls for a switch in tactics.
And what we're doing is going to size 12, 14, 16 hooks and crappie minnows.
Todd Tyler, owner of Eagle Sports in Eagle River, has tips on where to look for crappies and bluegills.
Weed beds from last summer. Other lakes, you'll find the panfish more in the deep basin.
Once you know where to target them and what to use, you'll have to figure out how to get there. But remember, no trucks.
I would recommend snowmobile right now because of the 12 inches of solid snow. However, ATVs, UTVs are all safe as long as you stay away from the channels, pinch points, and bridges.
With ice getting thinner, anglers only have a short time before it's gone for good.
It's time to have some fun on the ice.
Reporting in the Northwoods, Nick Van Zyl, Newswatch 12.
Thank you, Nick. And coming up, learn the details of the 18th annual Ice Golf and Meat Raffle happening this weekend.
But first, Howard is in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with a recipe for homemade beet borscht.
Mr. Food Test Kitchen is brought to you by Golden Carrot Jewelers.
Today I want to talk about a veggie that is often overlooked, but once it's discovered, or shall I say rediscovered, it becomes a new favorite. What is it? It's beets. Let me show you how to cook them. I start by cutting off the tops and trimming the bottoms and placing the bulbs in a pot of water. To that, I add some vinegar, a good amount of sugar, and a bit of salt. After it comes to a boil, I'll let it simmer for about a half an hour or so until the beets are tender. After removing them and letting them cool slightly, I peel them with a knife. And as you can see, it's a good idea to wear gloves so your fingers don't turn beet red. Now we can slice or dice them and serve them on our salads. Or we can cut them into strips and add them back into the sweet and tangy broth that we cooked them in. And after this cools, we end up with a chilled soup that's surprisingly refreshing. Maybe serve this with a boiled potato, some chopped cucumbers and onions, and a dollop of sour cream. One spoonful of this old world classic, and you'll know why this recipe has stood the test of time. To get the recipe for our homemade beet borscht, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an unbeatable way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
This portion of Newswatch 12 is brought to you by Sleep Central in Minocqua.
Don't lose sleep by choosing a mattress from just any store. Instead, visit the experts at your one-stop sleep shop. Hi, I'm Kristen from Sleep Central. We're the only store in the Northwoods to carry all of the name brands like Beautyrest, Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Serta, and all are ready for immediate delivery. We guarantee you'll find the perfect mattress at the perfect price. We also have a huge selection of bedding, futons, and accessories. We know how important sleep is, so stop on by and sleep better today. Sleep Central in Minocqua. Better sleep, pain-free, that's our promise.
You're watching NBC 12 from where you live.
Hold up. I'll be right there. It's about time.
Get personalized support. Call the Wisconsin Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Denny's Appliance Service, serving Rhinelander, Eagle River, Minocqua, and surrounding area. 35 years of experience, prompt professional service on all brands, emergency service available.
If you're a contractor or do-it-yourselfer, make Argonne Lumber your first stop. High-quality materials, personalized service, expert staff, and delivery are just some of the things Argonne Lumber is known for. Stop in and smell the lumber at Argonne Lumber, 2 locations in Argonne and Rhinelander.
Northwoods Accents, located in Mercer, features a wide variety of high-quality rustic and contemporary furniture, all made in Wisconsin. Complete your patio or deck with maintenance-free outdoor furniture. View our best craft living room sets. Denali throws and beddings to warm the chilly evenings. All products have year-round low prices with no sales pressure. The owner is available to assist you with any question. Stop by Northwoods Accents, 5079 U.S. Highway 51 in Mercer.
Wickersham Jewelry is excited to announce their 2023 Wedding Band Expo. 3 days only, March 9th through the 11th, with incredible savings of 20% on the area's largest selection of wedding bands and anniversary rings. Save 20% on the exclusive Love Story collection. Free silicone band with appointment. Take advantage of interest-free financing options. Wickersham Jewelry. If you can dream it, we can make it.
News Watch 12 today with Jackie Smith, Michael Lodeholtz, and Devin Biggs.
And welcome back. The Hodag Snow Trails will be hosting their 18th annual ice golf and meat raffle this weekend.
Ooh, the ice golf is a golf scramble played with registered teams of 4. Up to 18 holes are set up on Frozen Lake George in Rhinelander. The lowest team score gets the first pick of random cash prize envelopes. You can travel between the holes on snowmobile and visit local bars on the lake during the game. The event will take place on Saturday beginning at 11 a.m. and all proceeds go to benefit the Snowmobile Club. Find the Hodag Snow Trails on Facebook for more information.
That seems like a great time. I wonder what's in those random cash prize envelopes.
Absolutely. I love a good mystery, especially, if it's relating to golf on the ice. You can't go on the grass. I mean, ice, second best option.
Not golf all year round. That's
Exactly.
really what a lot of people need.
It's a fun game. Also fun is our trivia.
Yeah, right. Let's get right into trivia right now. True or false? Ever since records started being kept, Rhinelander has received snow every month of the year. True or false? The answer when we come back.
What does it cost to buy off a judge? For extremist Dan Kelly, he's for sale for $20,000. In 2020, Kelly conveniently changed his mind about whether to judge the Tim Zignego case. Kelly had recused himself. Then he pocketed $20,000 in contributions from Zignego and his family, and Kelly unrecused himself so he could judge the case. Justice shouldn't be for sale. Dan Kelly is too corrupt, too extreme.
Hey, are we gonna fit? There we go.
At American Family Insurance, we're here to carefully protect your dreams.
All right, open your eyes. Welcome home.
All right, we'll see you later. Save up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto insurance today. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com.
American Family Insurance.
You're watching NBC 12, your home for dramas, game shows, comedies, and sports. NBC 12, from where you live. Our local shelters have lots of furry friends in need of loving homes. Watch News Watch 12 today, every Friday morning, to see a new cuddly cat or dog ready for you to adopt. Homeward Bound on News Watch 12 today is sponsored by Paws and Claws.
Race fans, get your recap of the weekend races on Race Watch 12. Kate Heidemann breaks down the racing action Mondays on News Watch 12 today and News Watch 12 at 6. Brought to you by Builder Service, Menke Buick GMC Mazda, and Next Step Prosthetics. All your local news is just a swipe away with the new and improved News Watch 12 mobile app. Download the app on all your devices for local news, school closings, full video newscasts, and more. News Watch 12. News from where you live. The WJFW News app is sponsored by Cellcom.
Looking to switch from your current carrier? Choose Cellcom and get 6 months of service for free with a new smartphone line activation and flex agreement. Visit cellcom.com/save.
A convicted felon kidnapped and raped a 15-year-old girl, abducting her off the street in broad daylight. Judge Janet Protasewicz could have sentenced him to 20 years. Instead, she put him back on our streets.
What detractors would say is you having been soft on a violent sexual crime.
I would say that that's ridiculous. Judge Protasewicz puts our families at risk, and putting her on our Supreme Court, that's what's ridiculous. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Winter won't last forever. Call Stern Lawn and Landscape now to plan your spring project. Stamped concrete patios, retaining walls, new yard installations, irrigation, and more. Stern Lawn and Landscape, providing great lawn services for a great price. Find us on Facebook.
Bolger Cremation and Funeral Services in Woodruff.
Builder Service. We are your hometown hardware store. Plumbing, electrical, paint, automotive, keys, tools, lawn and garden. We're more than just a lumberyard. Highway 45 in Elko.
And a special birthday shout out to our country store winner this morning, Nolan Birkland from Rhinelander. Happy birthday and congratulations. You win a free ice cream cone and scoop from the country store in Eagle River.
To enter that special someone or coworker in Newswatch 12's birthday club, just head over to WJFW.com at least 2 weeks before their special day. That's where you can enter their name and upload a photo for us to air. You can also send us a photo and information to the station. Attention Northwoods Birthday Club, 3217 County Road G, right here in Rhineland.
You almost dropped the mouse, Michael.
No.
I thought I saw you flinch there. Otherwise, true or false? And I'm going to clarify this here. Ever since records started being kept, Rhinelander has received snow every month at least once. So we're talking about at least every month seeing some kind of snow since record has been kept.
I'm going to say true, because I've had people say they've seen it snow.
You're thinking true.
It's false. It has to be false. There's no way it snowed in July or August.
Carol from Massacre Control also says true, and guess what? True.
Wow.
7 days in June with a trace of snow. 1 day in July, and that is July 15th, set back in 1951. I have the stats in front of me here. And I'm looking at this now. It looks like at least 3 days with a trace of snow in August. So the answer is true. Wow. Every month has seen at least some kind of snow. Maybe not when we were alive, but it has at least happened before us. So we can brag to the Northwoods. Every single month has seen some kind. So
that's impressive.
Pretty interesting way, right? But otherwise, we do have winter weather advisories continuing, though, for snow that does continue to fall outside. We're watching more stuff off toward the north, though, as we'll be watching for more snow that'll be moving in Saturday night, at least lasting through Monday.